Theo Usherwood is here with us. Nicola from Norfolk says this morning, Mike, you are spot on about Starmer and his sanctimony. He is a disgrace. I really hope that Kemi finally steps up at PMQs and skewers him on this in a way which he cannot wriggle out of by cracking a rubbish joke. You know, that is the problem. He's very kind of now that he's in the Prime Minister's chair, if you like, in PMQs, he's quite glib, isn't he? He sometimes like dismisses things that are said to him, which are maybe quite serious, and just kind of tries to laugh it off.
Yeah,
I think he's in a bad place here.
He is in a very difficult place, but it is up to, you know, the situation only takes the leader of the opposition so far.
Yeah,
she's got to be able to step in and actually nail.
Yes,
Starmer.
I mean, people said to me yesterday,
and that's the problem.
It's going to be difficult for her because she won't want him to sort of blow back all the stuff about Rishi Sunak and Boris Johnson, the fact that they got penalty fines and all of that. But to which I would say, yeah, but they got penalty notices and they had to pay a fine. Well, maybe Keir Starmer should accept one as well. So, you know, either you're in the game for the long run and you can actually have that debate, or you can't. But you can't be frightened of having it.
No, and I don't think she needs to worry. You know, I don't think Kemi Badenoch needs to like worry about the blowback on Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak. She needs to get to the point, and she needs to get to the point where the British public who watch PMQs understand, whether it's live at midday in the House of Commons, or they see it on the news later, or they listen to it here on Talk, or wherever they get it, that Keir Starmer is dodging the question.
They want her to skewer him.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what they want.
And they want her to get to make it plain as day to them that he cannot answer the question, that all the rules will follow.
Right.
And if she can do that, then it's a job well done. She doesn't necessarily need to have the sound bite this week. Right. She doesn't need to have the one-line quip.
Yeah.
She needs to get to the point that Keir Starmer can't say to the House of Commons what he said to Jack Elsom on Monday at that press conference.
Yes.
That's it.
I think that's right. Let's look at Rachel Reeves. She's on the front page of the Times today. Cut spending or taxes must increase. Economists warn Rachel Reeves. Rachel Reeves, possibly the world's worst Chancellor of the Exchequer, with maybe one or two exceptions you might throw in there. But the Office for Budget Responsibility has basically said to her that the state of the economy is such that if she is, and it's now more or less accepted, isn't it, that she's going to make a statement in March.
Yes, she's going to make a statement.
Which she denied for a long time, and which Starmer denied for a long time, but it looks like she's going to do it. But basically they're saying, look, you need to be absolutely clear about what you're going to do here. Are you going to cut spending, or are you going to raise taxes? She can't keep hiding, can she?
So at the moment it's a spending review.
Yeah.
If she wants to raise taxes, then she has to turn it into a budget or a fiscal event.
Right.
So if they start changing the language and they start talking about a fiscal event or budget,
so is there actually a law? Is there actually a rule that says you can't just make a statement? You have to make a budget or something.
There is a rule that says you can make a statement, but within a spending review statement, you can only cut spending.
Okay.
You can't raise taxes.
Right.
If you want to raise taxes, you have to do a budget.
Okay.
And at the moment, she's saying no budget, no major fiscal event, which means that they are not planning to raise taxes.
Right.
So they're looking at the moment at tax. So
when March comes along and she makes the statement, as it stands, she can't raise taxes.
Yes.
Right.
So if she makes it, if they suddenly start talking about a major fiscal event or a budget, then they're going to raise taxes.
Right.
But there's two things, right? Three things. So there's three ways of raising money. The first is she could borrow more, but she said, the Treasury said absolutely flat no. We're going to reduce debt as a share of GDP over the course of this Parliament, and we're not going to borrow for day-to-day spending. So that's out. So that leaves spending cuts and tax rises. Yeah. Now, if she goes with tax rises, part of the problem, part of the reason we're in this mess, Mike, is that she went and raised taxes by 40 billion quid, and businesses threw their arms up in the air and said, we can't stomach this, we can't, we're going to have to put up our prices, which leads to inflation. And then of course interest rates are remaining high. We're hoping that they'll come down tomorrow, but they probably won't. Yeah. Or they're not going to come down as fast over the course. They probably will come down tomorrow, but they won't come down as fast as they might otherwise have done. So she could raise taxes, but if the markets then look at it and think, actually, businesses aren't going to invest here, the UK isn't like a great place to come and put your money and build a factory or set up an office. Which
currently it's not.
Which it plainly isn't after that budget. That's the view. We've got more millionaires leaving. I think it's up 157%, 24 compared to 23 in terms of the number of millionaires.
Well, I've been laughingly suggesting that's why they need a third runway at Heathrow for all the millionaires who are flying out on their private jets. You know, just go bye-bye, see ya, night-night.
So we've got that that element to it as well. So that really leaves spending cuts. But spending cuts won't be easy for the Chancellor because her backbench MPs are going to be, going around telling departments to cut waste, cut benefits, cut incapacity benefits, cut disability
defence budget.
Cut the defence. They don't want to do that.
No.
And Labour MPs are getting very jittery about it. And at the same time, we're giving the Mauritian government 18 billion quid.
You mentioned that, which is a good thing, because we're about to move on to that. Let's get a voice note from Tony on the Chagos Island scenario.
Morning, Mike. Tony in Stoke-on-Trent. So last night I hear that Keir Starmer has now doubled the £9 billion that he wants to give to Mauritius for the Chagos Islands, up to £18 billion. I know the Chagos Islands don't want these, Mauritius don't want these Chagos Islands, but who's going to turn down £18 billion? And where the hell has he found the money for this? I think this Labour government have come in to power, and this isn't just bad government. This is destruction of our country. This is getting beyond a joke now, mate.
Yeah, Tony, I couldn't agree more. We'll come back to that because, I mean, in what world would I come to you and say, look, here's the thing, Theo, I've got this car, right? I'm going to give it to you. It's a really good car, but I know that you don't really want it. So what I'm going to do, in order to give you the car and convince you it's a good idea for me to give you the car, I'm going to pay you £20,000 a year for the next 10 years for you to take the car off my hands.
But in what world is that? I tell you, in Starmer worlds, there has been a ruling by an international court that means that you have to do that. Non-binding, but you adhere to international law.
But that's absolute BS, isn't it? Absolute rubbish. I mean, if some bloke from Brussels came over to me from The Hague and went, you have to sell that car to Theo Usherwood, I'd go, you know what? See these two fingers? There they are. Get stuffed. Anyway, we'll come back to that because, of course, the country is being run by a man who is completely incapable of running his own life. That's the problem. He thinks it's a good idea to bring a woman who is not his wife into his Labour Party headquarters on Christmas Eve wearing a mask, a reasonably comely-looking individual, and he claims that she was teaching him how to speak. Well, we all know that he can't speak. So she wasn't doing that, was she? What was she doing with her mouth? That's what I want to know. This is Talk